What's up, everybody? Alex Boylan here, co-founder of Dream Jobbing. And with us today for 5 questions with is the amazing Linda Cruse. Good to see you. Thank you for being here.
Lovely to be here. Thank you.
This is one of the most amazing women you will ever meet, and we're excited to dive into her career because it's very fascinating. She is the founder and operator, owner of Race4Good, and it's an amazing organization that takes the world's brightest minds to help solve the world's most critical issues. And it's incredible. So we're just going to dive right into this because this is so exciting. Lisa Hennessy, one of the co-founders of Dream Jobbing, was with Linda yesterday and was like, we have to combine this and do a 5 questions with. Pretty cool. So Linda, can you just start off with what is Race4Good from your own words?
Race4Good actually takes bright, brilliant, innovative, fun, exciting people, and we give them a critical issue to solve. We put them into teams so they're competing against each other within a short time frame. We give them resources and challenges and wildcards and jokers and this tight time frame and a very small amount of money to solve this critical social or environmental problem. It's fast, it's furious, but it has a huge, meaningful impact. I work in the first world, third world, but I particularly like engaging the bright young things, the ones that are just coming out and really blossoming, because as we get older, I say we start to get our glasses dirty, right? Mm-hmm. Because we build up, we assume, we prejudge, no, that won't happen. We become cynical. Yeah. But actually young people, right? Everything is possible. So wherever I'm doing my competition with Race4Good, I like the tension and the challenge from the younger people.
Oh, so and by the way, and to Linda say this, just she's very modest, but I mean, she works with Prince Charles and Richard Branson and some of the brightest minds in the world, and for you to sit here and say, the favorite people to work to crack some of these issues are the younger generation.
Completely.
That is awesome.
It is, and it's true. It's absolutely true.
So what was it? How did you come up with this idea? Because the idea of taking, so many, and I've done series about, working with nonprofits and fascinating with it. And a lot of the times, they go to the brightest minds or they go to corporations, and it's about writing a check, help the NGO out. But you're against that.
Oh,
I want your brain. So where did that click? How did you come up with this?
Well, I decided that I wanted to work in the most complex situations on Earth, mostly after major catastrophic disasters. But what happened was I was working in India with Tibetan refugees, and I was lucky enough to have a visit from Prince Charles. He came to this camp to visit me. And I realized that as I was doing this work, that no one was inviting the private sector and university students and these bright young people to really be part of solving a problem. So I was sharing this with Prince Charles, and I said, I think they're the most underused resource, and why are they not being involved? And he said, Linda, they'll hear you, they'll be so passionate about what you're doing. When you go to the corporates, they'll get out a big fat check and they'll hand it over. And he said, leave it on the table, because unless they will engage, the money is really worth nothing. They are the jewel. Their business acumen, their entrepreneurial skills, their compassion, their heart, their innovation. So I have used that model the whole of my career. I'm not a charity, I'm not an NGO. I only work with people who will share their innovation and their intelligence and their compassion.
That's unbelievable. Yeah. Can you tell us, because it's interesting, as we were prior to us recording here, we've been going through stories among stories. Can you tell us some of the most inspiring stories? She's worked all over the world in many, many countries, talking about how you guys have actually, had impactful, sustainable change in these countries.
Yeah, I always like to tell the very first time that I felt the excitement and surprise of what people can come up with. And that was in Thailand after the Asian tsunami. And it was the biggest, most awful disaster I've ever worked in. We had 250,000 dead. The wave 100 foot high had just smashed so many countries. And I was in Thailand. And my first career, I was a nurse. So I was helping in the first aid area, and we had a survivors camp of 5,000 Thai people. And it took me to, this beautiful young woman came up to me and with a baby in her hand, went to give me her baby and said, please take my baby, I can no longer feed her. And for me, the alarm bells just went right off the scale. It was like, if I take your baby, that means your whole life is just going to go downhill. You'll become dependent on other, you'll lose your self-esteem and your dignity. So I looked straight back in her face and I said, no, I'm not going to take your baby, but I promise to find how you can feed your own baby. So then I thought, well, how am I going to do this, right? Because I don't know. So I thought, right, you create a tribe, right? You find the people that can. And I went up to Bangkok and I literally said to the British ambassador, please, can you throw this party and invite business people, national, international, because I want to set them a challenge. And of course, I think most of us love to be challenged.
Yeah.
You know, we love to
Everyone loves a little bit of competition.
Completely, and to use our own skills,
Yeah.
right? So, you know, all the hands shot up at this party and I said, no, I just want 4. But they came with me and talked to the people, looked at the environment, and it was terrible. I mean, it was just smashed. And the Thai people in the survivors camp were the bellboys, gardeners and cleaners, so low educated, can't relocate. And the place they earned their money, the hotel's gone and not being rebuilt because they were worried the tsunami was coming back. So I said, right, this is your challenge. What can they do to earn money now? And they're like, oh my God. And you could tell the excitement and the adrenaline and the competition for business leaders. I'm going to get the best idea. No, I am, right? So a week later, I got a call and they'd come up with a solution. And another thing I love is that they're never going to suggest something unless they've done the research to the viability of it. So I went to them and they said, yeah, we found something is viable for the next 10 years. What is it? So they'd realised and they talked to the people and seen the geography, and rubber trees still stood that lined the coast. And they'd done the research and rubber was viable for the next 10 years. Then they'd worked out how much would it cost to actually harvest rubber. And for a family of 4 in a cooperative, it was $250. That's all. Coconut shell, knife, rubber mangle. And of course, then I went down to the community to say, how would you feel about harvesting rubber? Because if they don't want to do it, it won't work.
Right.
And their response was, our grandparents harvested rubber, but we were attracted to the hotel industry. It was tips, it was different. And they said, of course we can. So within 4 months, they were earning 3 times the amount of money they ever earned in the hotel industry.
So awesome.
And it was immediate.
Yeah.
And the great thing was, so all these people that had come down to, and the business people felt useful, they felt they'd been involved. Of course, they became their mentors as well, because they had given of themselves. And it was a beautiful, that was really just, it's kicked off the model. And I must say, you know, it's down to Prince Charles. He is the one that really kicked off, leave the money on the table. You need the person.
That's amazing. That's amazing. What's next for Race4Good?
Ooh.
Like when you look at like where you are now, it's been an unbelievable journey.
Yeah.
You know, where do you want it to go?
I want the world to play. I want people from each country, each continent to be able to take, and again, I love, it's either these bright young things who are coming out of their education into university, into college, just blossoming time of their life, and business people to really take on the challenges within their own countries or in other countries, but actually set up these competitions so that you get different perspectives. You get people playing together in a fun, emotionally engaging, exciting way with incredible impact and deliverables. And I really believe that we have to stop being charitable and start being capable. We all we're so blessed to be born in a first world country. You know, our education gives us so much that we can draw on, and you feel great. Contribution is the greatest human need, you know? We've all got an issue in our own backyard, in our community. And it's like, what I really, really want to say is when you keep hearing a problem repeated over and over again, do something about it. You know, who can you find in your tribe to pull together to start to actually solve these problems? but
Yeah.
do it in a business-led approach where it's not sticking plaster. You know, we're dealing with people's lives, and if you can research and spend the time to get to know the people, to wear their moccasins, to really understand how they live, what they want out of their lives, that's how you get the most sustainable solutions.
I just commend you so much. Your life has been fascinating. The work you're doing is so powerful. It's awesome. So, fifth and final question for you, Linda, and this is for the younger kids out there, younger students out there. You know, you took a change in your path, right?
Oh, yeah.
You were this nurse, then you've gone on, and your excitement for what you do is palpable, right? And it's awesome. What's your advice to the younger generation as they try to figure out what their dream career should be?
Never stop really sensing with your heart what makes you happy, what makes you feel alive, what you feel so excited about doing. You get up at 3 a.m. and work till midnight. Because actually, what I do, people might say, well, why don't you take a day off? Why don't you go on vacation? It's like, I don't need to. Every single day, I'm living my happiest moments. So this is what you need to feel day in, day out. Is what you're doing bringing the best of you to the table? And if not, keep searching, keep looking, keep trying different things. Because I really believe we were all born with something amazing to give, whatever that is, music, art, drama, like me, a crazy aid worker. But it's you find that sweet spot, and like you draw your tribe to you. And that's why I feel I connect so well with people like Richard Branson, because we have passion. Yeah. He's a great humanitarian. He loves using his intelligence to help people. And so you draw amazing people to you once you've started to find your own path. Never give up.
That's awesome advice. 5 questions. Linda Cruse, thank you so much for doing
pleasure.
this. It's been an awesome day, and this has been really cool.
Super.
Appreciate it. All right, guys, that's it. We'll check you on the next episode.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys.
Bye-bye.